Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. In this video, I'm going to be removing and replacing moldy drywall. Now, the cause of the mold is a leaking toilet. That is what the homeowner has told me. Guys, if you are not confident in your ability to do a job like this, just hire a professional. It's not worth getting sick or injured or anything else. I have experience with demolition, asbestos, mold, and other types of hazardous material, so this is nothing new to me. This is not my first time doing this, so please keep that in mind. Now, the reason for the mold is a leaking toilet. Based on my understanding and what I've seen in this house, I think the wax seal was mashed when they set the toilet, but everything in this house that I've seen so far has been done wrong, so I'm fairly certain it was improper install. So with that in mind, we'll look at our setup. Okay, so this is our mold here. There is a toilet, I believe, up here based on the way it's laid out, but without actually seeing anything. So with the mold here and the mold here, all of this section will need to be cut out. I've already made a line for the studs, but once this has gotten cut out, we'll figure out where we're going to be after that. But I was told by a remediation specialist from the edge here to go 2 feet over, 2 feet over, and then it'll be the same thing. We'll take this and we'll come back over as far as we can. So with that in mind, we'll do material and tools. All right, this is the materials list for this job. So I have garbage bags, painter's tape, drywall tape, 1.25" drywall screws, mold killing spray, drywall loading mud, drywall finishing mud, a disposable bunny suit, a bunch of drop cloths, and in the back here, I don't know if I'm gonna need it, but I have some plywood. All right, so this is our drywall. It's 2 half-inch sheets. So when you buy drywall, it comes in 2 sheets. So you can find the thickness and then what it is off the very side. But when you buy drywall, it's always going to be 2 sheets, not 1 sheet. So this is the remainder of the material list. So what we'll do now is a tools list. All right, this is the tools list. So in the back, I have a ladder, work light, shop vac. Inside the bin, I have my drywall kit. We'll go through the tools as I use them. 4-foot level, mixing attachment. I have my pouch, so hand tools, pencil, measuring tape, hammer, knife, buckets, my cordless kit. As of right now, just a drill is what I need for safety equipment. Earplugs, respirator, safety glasses, extension cord, and then an industrial fan. Guys, this is what I believe I need for tools on this job, so let's get started. Okay, so I've gone ahead and masked everything off. So this is a complete quarantine. Tape is all the way around. And then we're gonna be ready to go here after we suit up and put our respirators on. But your prep work and masking is going to make or break a job. If you can keep all the contamination in one area, you're going to keep people safe. Besides that, homeowners don't want to see dust all over their stuff. So to start, I'm going to use a drywall saw to cut a hole in the wall. So I have the shop vac to collect the dust. Now, whenever you're going to cut a hole in a wall, always use a hand drywall saw. Don't use a sawzall or anything that is a power tool, because if you hit a wire or water pipe, you're not going to feel the obstruction inside the wall. After trying multiple cuts, the drywall saw is not going through the drywall, so I believe that there's wood inside the wall. So here I'm taking a hammer to break a hole in the wall to confirm. Since this drywall is going to be thrown out anyway, it makes no difference if I smash it to pieces or not. So I've confirmed that there is wood inside the wall, so I'm taking a 4-foot level and a utility knife, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut through the drywall using the knife and then just remove the contaminated portion, which will be replaced with new drywall. When using a knife, you're going to have to go a few passes because the knife is not going to go all the way through on one pass. Now, if you're going down studs, you may feel screws. Just go over the screw or nail or whatever you feel and then continue down the line. Using a knife, you're going to get a nice clean cut opposed to a drywall saw. Starting on the ceiling now, I'm going to punch a hole in with the drywall saw and then cut along the line. Now you're going to hit joists, you're going to feel 1.5 inch areas that you have to go around, and when you hit these areas, you're just going to finish the cut with a utility knife. So the green area is where the wetness is. There is some poly that is holding up the insulation, but the poly needs to be pulled down, the insulation needs to be pulled out, and then we can take a look and see what is actually leaking. I'm assuming it's a wax seal at this point, but without actually seeing it and confirming, I don't know 100%. So now the insulation can be pulled out. The discoloration is water and dirt from the leak that is being exposed. Based on what I see here, all the plumbing is just done absolutely terribly. There's nothing that was done well here based on what I see. And this is going to be one of those things where this is just tip of the iceberg for the rest of the house. I'm going to cut through the wood on the wall to expose how much contamination there is. So I'm going to take a sawzall. I made a line, and I'm just going to go down the line. I don't know where studs are, but I'm just cutting out big enough that the pieces that are being removed can be put back onto the wall. As usual, make sure that you have safety glasses and earplugs in, and because there is mold contamination here, I'm also using a respirator because the vibration of the saw can kick up any mold spores. So here we see water leaking. Now this is from the ensuite. The homeowner said that there was sweating from the main bathroom, which means more than likely both toilets are leaking, and it's not surprising based on what I found later in the job. Okay, so I'm going to use my mold control spray here. So this has been dry for a couple weeks now. I had a fan going for about 3 weekends to dry all this out. I had to rip all this stuff out, strap it, and redo it. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to soak this area here, the 2x4 here, and this area here. And depending on how much I have left, I'm probably just going to use the entire bottle because there's no point in me salvaging anything. But guys, if you want to wear safety glasses and a respirator, feel free to do so. So for this spray, be very liberal. Soak absolutely everything. I'm going to use the entire bottle, but don't be afraid to just have everything soaking wet, and it can be left for a night. Now, I did check the reviews for this product, and they were favorable. I got this from a big box store. Alright, so I used the bottle and I soaked the entire area. I just kept spraying until I ran out of the product, but what it says is to leave it overnight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back tomorrow after this is dry. I guess if you want to, if you had plenty of time, you could throw a fan under here and see if you can dry it out faster. But even with a fan, I'm not going to wait, but that's always an option if you want to try to speed up the process and you start this earlier in your day than I have here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this. I'll come back. I'll put all of these pieces back in. I'll put the insulation back in, and we'll come back when I'm ready to cut and patch the new pieces of drywall here. Alright, so I went ahead and I boarded the ceiling. So guys, whenever you're going to drywall a room, you're always going to do the ceiling first. I think the idea is when you put your wall pieces on, that's going to help support the corner. Anyways, I've already done this for the sides, but I will do it on the bottom. So guys, what you want to do is you want to bevel the very edge here. Make sure nothing is sticking out. But you're not trying to gouge out the side, you're just trying to bevel it. So down here, I'm going to go ahead, I'll go down the line and just do this bottom piece. Now, the better cut that you do horizontally and vertically plumb, the easier you're going to have a time. Because remember, drywall sheets are all rectangular, they're square. It's the same measurement from corner to corner. But what I'm going to do now is I'll quickly do this edge here for you guys so you can see what it looks like. Alright, so when cutting this corner here, make sure that you have a sharp blade, because if you don't, you're just going to start to tear. And it should be one motion to take off the corner. If you have to do a sawing type of action, it probably means that your blade is too dull. Okay, with that all done, just get the dust off the very bottom here.